Let's get it, Miles, and let's get it, Los Angeles, as it is time to kick off day number 2 of Champs, and it's going to be an elimination matchup coming all the way from the east to enter this stage first. Let's see what London is all about. Fans all around the world, help me make some noise for the London Royal Ravens. Give it up for Zero, Nasty, Gizmo, and Afro, the London Royal Ravens.
Not just a city, there's a whole country on this team's back. They want to make their hometown proud. They want to pop off here. We saw Afro midway through the series yesterday. He started to pop off. If he can do that early on in this series, they have a good chance to get that lead. Let's bring out the other team, Blaze.
Yes, it is. It's time to bring out the boys from New York. Stand clear, because here comes the Subliners.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Los Angeles, give it up for the New York Subliners. We got Paulehx, Hydra, Kismet, and Crimsix, your New York Subliners.
They did the impossible, but the story is not done yet. And honestly, all eyes are on Paul to retake the crown. And you know what? What better team to take it from than the London Royal Ravens? The loser bracket run has to start here, Blaze. Let's get this match underway.
I am so ready, aLLeY. One team has to go home, and we're about to find out who it is. To cast the match, give it up for Ton and Bryce.
Thank you very much, Blaze. Yes, we are live here in this beautiful day 2 of Champs. And make no mistake, yesterday was one of the best days we've ever seen at the championship for all of Call of Duty esports. But today gets even more spicy. One of these two teams we are going to say goodbye to straight away. For London Royal Ravens, they have tried to get themselves into a position, the promise, the potential has been there, but it has not been realized. And today, they need every single scrap of it. For New York, the Cinderella story was written at the major, but it could all come crashing down. Does the glass slipper fit? Have they got that carriage, or is it a pumpkin here at the championship time?
You have prepared that this morning, my goodness. You know, the storylines are beautiful heading into this one, though, as you said. You know, for the side of the Ravens, it is very much that promise that we have not seen when it has come to the stage of being on LAN, whereas for the side of New York, it was like that for a while as well, wasn't it? We didn't really see what we did expect from that team when it has come to LAN, but both these two teams now at this point need to bring everything they possibly can. Looking at the map set, I'm sure we will do in just a second. I agree with aLLeY, there has been some ego channels on this one. There has been a couple of occasions where people are like, oh, you want to go on your best map? Yeah, bet we'll do it. No problem whatsoever. I definitely feel like New York Subliners, though, will be looking at this. I was talking to Jay backstage. These guys have went for the AR side of things as best as they possibly can. They want to try and nullify Afro if at all possible. He was firing yesterday, and he's going to need to be firing today if London want to continue their season.
They certainly will. The pressure is on. Make no mistake, you do not want to be the first team to leave champs. Going into this one, we actually looked at the statistics before this. It's pretty good for both teams in the first half of it. The problem is going to be statistically in the second half of this series, it will favor New York. So London need to start strong and try to convert that into a win early.
It's a tough map, number one, it has to be said. For the side of London, we need to see more from them on the hardpoint front, just overall. How good they were in the online stage during stage 4 needs to translate here to LAN, or they're done. The same applies to New York as well as we get into GVU2 to kick off day 2 of champs.
All right, let's get right into this one. Straight into P1, you can see both teams, the nades are raining. And the players are trying to break straight through. Obviously, New York first in, but it will be Afro. Managed to get in and get it, and there's a few kills already going down for London. But Hydra and Kismet, they stop the bleed.
It's such a huge matchup, isn't it? When you're thinking about Hydra, you're thinking about Afro. Two of the best SMGs in the league. Both from Europe, going at it up against each other. Good play from Nasty here as well. And again, I agree with Dashy. We need to see more from him. Typically, he has been one of the more consistent players when it's come down the line for the side of London. But to kick things off, it is New York with a slight lead and heading over towards P2. New York already thinking about that. Want to try and lock down this last final 15 seconds here for the side of Ravens. They'll get a hold of that.
Yeah, they have got it. You can see already on the minimap, Nasty's going to try and make a little bit of a play towards green. I don't know if he has been seen. He has Hydra. Gets him before he can do any damage, and both will be fully in New York control. As they try to get this lead back, it's obviously very little difference between the two teams at the moment, but they are trying to put them into the blender here, Ton.
Trying their best. London going to have to fight their way out as best as they can. It's a difficult position to be in. Kismet now, front door. Is he going to be able to find two? Yes, he is, all on his own. And London really in a tough spot here. New York has set up this up quite wonderfully. They've got control over towards P1. The gunfight is continuing over there. Afro will get the better of Hydra, so we'll be thinking about the rotation over towards P3. Kismet was doing a great job. Eventually will get taken down. But this is great time for the side of Subliners if they had somebody inside the point.
Well, they're trying, but unfortunately they haven't let the players get through. They're now going to execute straight back onto this point. Nasty, the only player left alive, has to stay and get into a position, but New York shut that door right in their face already. And at the moment, you've got to say New York may be taking a little bit of the momentum in this game.
Yeah, you would think so, but you looked at that spawn trap that they had. London were nowhere near the point. New York running up 20. We didn't see a lot of time actually being picked up for all the map control that they did have there. So best case scenario for London, I suppose, but that rotation over towards P3 has been there for the Subliners as well. The rotations have been somewhat flawless so far. Plenty of GVU2 yet left to go though. Having a look over towards the side of the London Royal Ravens. 2-7 from Afro. It's a hard map for an SMG. You guys at home will know that. Let's see if we can get things going. Not going to happen this time, Ro. On the other side of things, look, Hydra 8-4, making 9 possibly, not going to happen.
With a slap there, shuts him down, and now Kismet at the back though, it's Nasty, he finds the first, and now New York are isolated. They have not got the position for it, they're going to try and go through. Kismet is still alive, somehow eventually goes down to Gizmo. It will be the scrap time for the Ravens. They've got to be careful, they do not want to give away the rotation that is just on the cusp of being crucial.
Yeah, this next minute or so is super crucial for the side of London. He'll start to flow through though, and New York will pick up that final 20. If you're London though, you want to make sure you batten down the hatches. This kill could be important if Kismet can find it on the Gizmo. He gets taken down. Rotation is going to be there for the side of the London Royal Ravens. Taking a step back though, so far so good for New York. They're being the first ones there to pretty much every single hill outside of P1, and they are the team that are finding the most points. But we know how much time can be made up over towards this back P4 side. Pressure starting to come in from New York. A big kill from Afro.
Kismet's now going to be a good position. He's going to be looking for a kill straight out of the gate here, and Crimsix gets one. But it's shut down. The spawns have flipped away. And I think London are going to realize, you can see them pushing through Cliff now, trying to lock this one down. Players going to go towards Dark. London are putting bodies in position to try and shut this one. And even with the stack from New York, it is difficult to get in a position. Gizmo shuts it down.
It's such a tough one. We see so many teams do this to the opposition. They force them to spawn over towards the back. It was a really good push from New York, but it didn't work out on the other side. London survived at the point, and all of a sudden New York spawned towards the back. Kill still coming through here for the side of London. 13-7 coming out from Nasty. He's on a 4 spree. And London have done so well since New York got that back spawn. They haven't had a sniff.
They certainly haven't, and to tell you what, New York, they are going to lose the lead here. Let's find out how they recover with the New York Subliners. Listen in.
Take your time, take your time, take your time.
I got
Be careful crossing beach.
He's watching the cross.
He's got a bomb, he's got a bomb, he's got a bomb.
I got by.
I'm getting a sub.
I don't see anyone, R1, R2.
I'm taking Ivy.
Pushing up mid. Nice. Yo voy a say.
I don't have any techs.
I'm pushing up close strong. Yo, one's R2, R1 going S1, and one's we got we got time somewhere.
Back green,
back green weak Gizmo. He's top green Gizmo.
He's not picking me. I dropped down.
I don't see him. I don't see him.
One guy's gonna be S1. I got one.
Top green.
One's gonna be S1.
He's not dead. I'm watching over you.
One
Yo,
Right are we?
Yeah, I'm pushing.
they're gonna be close to you again. They're gonna be close to you again.
Oh, look, let's see.
I'm watching over you.
Let's see.
I saw you. I did.
All right, the patience from New York as they try to apply the pressure here onto London, but London are holding strong at the moment, but Paulehx tries to make the hero play, but it's not good enough.
It's 2 back-to-back hills that have been fantastic for the side of the London Royal Ravens. New York were sensational over the first 3. I said those rotations were crucial, but when they've lost the rotation, they haven't been able to find a way through. Speaking of rotations though, P1 is under their control. The side of Ravens though, keep an eye on Zero. He's going to be the one pushing on the flank, but the rest of the team go through the front door. Here they go. Gizmo through there. He's not going to be able to find it. A 92% hold rate for the side of either one of these 2 teams when you get there first. Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was anybody in particular, but it is one of the highest hold rate in terms of hills. But it is going to be London to break through with 40 to go.
Well, they've got it. Zero's trying to get out of there. They know exactly where he is. He needs a little bit of reinforcements from up top. You can see the guns of London are swinging this way, but already the trade has come through. They've got to lock down the stairs. Kills going back and forth. New York are slowly but surely trying to make the right position. Nasty's got the awareness, and thank you very much. And London hold it down.
So much of a better game here from Nasty so far. 20 and 11, and he may well be the difference maker across the board for each 2 teams. Looking at what London are doing now, though, they're pretty much doing what this side of NYSL did to them. They're forcing them into those back cliff spawns, and there's Zero with all 3. There's another player pushing him as well, as Crimsix going to be the next on the chopping block. It does not matter, the damage is already done. Zero is just refusing to die outside cliff. Eventually will fall down, but is the damage already done? That rotation's it for London.
They have it, but they don't have the numbers. Keep an eye on that mini-map. You can see New York are here in force as Paulehx pushes straight through with 6 health. And now London, we're in a great position, and they are in a great position on the scoreboard. New York will be looking to drag this one back with as much time as they can physically squeeze out of both.
There's a big fight over towards P3. That Nasty wins up against Hydra. Stops the push coming on through for the side of Subliners, and Ravens can just about hold off. Nasty still having a hell of a game. Subliners not out of this one yet though. Good 25 seconds left to go here. The pressure is on for them to push through P3. They want to try and get control of green if they can. London have been very stubborn here though. They have not pushed themselves forward. They have not overextended. They want to lock in the spawns for P3.
Yeah, London would have liked a little bit more P1 control, and they don't have it. Hydra is here though. Gets that first kill, and now London are reeling. They don't have the bodies. They don't have the position. Afro has to stay alive. Keep that available for his teammate to get through as Hydra keeps cutting his way through London. He now gets under the point. One more chance. Of course, the French Phenom breaks this open, and London have taken a step back. 80 points in the lead has evaporated.
The Subliners fan said, Viva la Francis. Hydra pushes his way through all on his own. The rest of the team doing the job over towards green, but London, we talked about them being stubborn over towards P2, not wanting to make that push. Nasty gonna have to call this in to help his team out. He got this, well, nothing, as he pushes them towards P1. London have stopped the bleeding momentarily, but New York are not in a bad spot.
Yeah, it's actually a really good recovery from London. They managed to find the kills. They pushed it all the way back. It was looking disastrous for them. But now they have to be careful. This rotation could be crucial. Hydra may try and take the scrap time away. I think that's his plan here. Just don't get London any more points. He flies about in here and has stayed alive. Eventually goes down, but it has denied London time. We are off to the races. We are going to P4, and it is crucial that New York dig their heels in.
It was London who were here first last time around. Subliners looking to lock in a good amount of time here. Just keep an eye on London, which side of push they're going to go for. It's looking like it's a full cliffside break. Hydra's going to be the first one to try and defend here. Gizmo will be the first one to fall. He is. Shots are in. Hydra defends on his own. Nasty still continuing up his good form. We'll find another, but he's the only one on London who can find a kill.
I'm trying to look at the spawns come in. I don't think New York know exactly they're about to be pinched completely out of oblivion. But no! Paulehx, Kismet, and Crimsix have shut it down. London are now spawning halfway across the continent. They have to go so far. This is looking like New York taking the lead.
The thing is, though, London did not want to spawn towards the back there the second time around. When you got 4 down, all of NYSL can spin around and stop you even getting anywhere near this next hill. London took their time on the kill cams. If you noticed on the minimap, they did not come in quickly. They are now there for the rotation over towards P5. So smart play from London, even though they did get wiped. It is going to be New York with an ever so slight lead as we head over towards green. It's always a good first half point when we're on the cast price, and we're getting a good one here.
And it may not be the slaying that is New York and Hydra, but he has been crucial. He's been making plays that matter, and they need him once again to break this. Finds one on the boat. Now going to spit forward. Knows exactly where Nasty is. It's Hydra again. He is cutting it down London. He is giving his team the opportunity to flood boat and get towards it here. The time is ticking away from him, but London have not got the point.
I love that from Afro, though. He's managed to push his way through boat. Now he's going to start causing all sorts of issues around this area, trying to just cut off the head of the snake, stop New York getting in. Makes a good movement through P1. He's found a couple of kills on his way there. Eventually, Hydra will deal with him. Nasty, though, in the position over towards P1. Will have to back on down, but this time is going over towards London. They cannot quite win it here, but look for that P1 control. There's 20 seconds to go on P5. We're thinking of P1 shortly.
Nasty trying to cut everybody down. Found it. Afro found another one as well. It's pressure for New York. They have to worry. They aren't going to get this rotation. They aren't going to get the scrap time. And Nasty's ready in P1. New York have everything to do. London have to get the reinforcements here.
It's about to climb. They've got to go if you're New York. Nasty inside the point. London 4 away.
And now they come. Here come New York. Seconds are ticking. And Paulehx is trying to make it. It's not going to be good enough. New York were not fast. They were too slow. And London have taken the hard point. The first blow has been struck in this elimination game. And while New York had the opportunity, they had the methodology to try to come back into that game. It was just not enough. They couldn't break through. They couldn't get in position. And the game has ended.
Consistency from the ARs of London helping them out there. Afro not necessarily having the best of games, but I loved the play at P5. And again, what led up to that? It was a really, really nice hold from New York. They wanted to force London towards the back, but London took their time. They did not want to spawn instantly. You know what it's like? You don't want to be back in there immediately. Take their time to get the spawn out, they get the rotation from P5, and they lock in every single point that they possibly can. I said, Efro didn't have a great game, but it's that rotation through boat. He finds 2 kills there as New York was starting to heat up. All of that time goes over towards London, and it is a mountain to climb for the side of Subliners from there. A couple of big kills from Nasty throughout that game, actually, is a 30 and 21. Not quite the highest damage in the game. Gizmo having a good time as well. We talked about his performances online. Not quite replicating what we've seen online. That's a bit more like it from the youngster.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that can be quite frustrating about COD Esports, right? We talk about the KD, we talk about the slaying. Nasty obviously had a good game. But the reason we highlight so many other plays is they are important. You can get 1 or 2 kills, and it can translate to about 30 seconds of time. Yep. That's why we highlight Hydra. Obviously, not dropping the biggest of numbers, but big kills matter.
Yeah, they absolutely do. It's not about all the kills that you find, it's the important ones. I wonder if we'll maybe get a look at it here. Nasty was holding down the middle of the map, but it was actually, Afro has said, number 4 on the minimap. You keep an eye, he actually pushed all the way around P1, got behind them at boat, and that just slowed down New York Subliners because it looked like they had the pressure there. And as soon as Nasty finds this rotational kill heading over towards P1, it's so difficult for New York to get themselves back in. It was pretty much done and dusted. The number 2 hill when it comes to rotations of teams locking down the most of the points is this one. And London did not let a single one go over towards New York.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, a big hold from New York there, and they're trying to come back into the game, but the fact they couldn't get through both, the fact that even with Hydra making kills and staying alive, they couldn't apply the pressure onto London. And when that pressure released, London went, let's rotate. We have the scrap time, we have the opportunity. They didn't even have the most numbers. New York were trying to get bodies in the area, but it was not quite quick enough to force London into a defensive position. London had everything they needed. They were proactive, and they held on. Because for a little while there, it looked like they could have come back.
Yeah, and that's breaking the duck there for London. We haven't seen a hardpoint win from them in some time. So the fact that they find that will give them so much confidence in the rest of this series. Now heading into a Desert Siege Search and Destroy. It's a fantastic map for both 2 teams. For London, the number 1 team on the game, on this map specifically, will have a lot of confidence now throughout this series. Hydra, as said, when we talk specifically numbers, not necessarily the most fantastic game by his standards, but at the same time, had a very solid time in terms of finding those points. But Afro, for all he did not have a great map number 1 necessarily himself in terms of KD, the KD on Desert Siege Search and Destroy is not something to be sniffed at.
Yeah, he has been the X factor for London in some very crucial situations, and they can do with him here and now. If he can put on the performance he is capable of on Desert Siege, London could potentially go up 2-0, and this this is the story of the statistics. And it looks good for London.
And that 4v3 win percentage just went up. They were so good at it yesterday, up against Surge. Every single round, even if Surge were in the better position, looked like London were going to win it. There were so many clutchable moments that they somehow found a way to find. And when they are in that prime position, when they are in that 4v3, 91% of the time, that round goes their way.
All right, so there was something I forgot to mention.
Yes,
so there was something I forgot to mention in the intro for these 2 teams. you got to remember, back at Major 3, London were the team that basically broke the back of New York. They are the team that forced the Cinderella story to really start to occur. They knocked them out, they got no points at the Major. New York then had to do the business in the qualifier and at the Major again. New York were the team that fell to London at Major 3 for no points. And they could kill that Cinderella story again right here and now. And this is one of the things that people have been a little bit critical about Gizmo, right? The online to the LAN hasn't performed as well. But I have said this, and I will reiterate this. We believe the first half of the series is actually good for both teams. We do believe the second half is better for New York.
Yeah, London need to find themselves a 2-0 lead, you would find. Even though 2-0 over the last two in control, you're still not too sure on how that mode is going for them. Look at this aggression from New York, though. Afro will quite literally revel in the moment. This sort of play is very much up in his wheelhouse, and he will happily fight fire with fire inside of Palace. He gets the first blood that London need. 91% of the time, they are converting these 4v3s. Let's see if they can maybe make it further towards 92%.
Well, you can see they try to get a little bit back there into Palace. Hydra was taking on Nasty, and Nasty didn't actually get a hit marker on him. But now it's intense for New York. They need to try and get a little bit of position back for them again. Here comes it. Oh, it's the worst possible timing for him. Goes for the pistol, and Paulehx ends up winning it, bringing it back to a 3 versus 3. Gizmo trying to get that trade coming through, but it hasn't worked.
New York do even the odds, but their A breakoffs have not been fantastic so far in the attack when it has come down to Desert Siege, only 33% of the time. Are they finding rounds when they are heading over towards that? Because of those first bloods going the opposite way. But if A don't work, well, you've got 2 bomb sites. B is going to go down 3v3.
Okay, New York have a little bit of an advantage now. They just have to defend this site. 36 seconds on the clock. Nobody really moving. It's a very slow execute from them. And I'm going to see whether or not New York can figure this one out. You can see London trying to reinforce. They need to get towards this bomb site now. Crimsix going around for a different position. And it's a Legion of Fuse! Oh my goodness! I'm sorry I didn't hype it up, but at LAN you keep quiet and you watch it unfold. And New York had no vision. The stretch came in.
That's a misplay. That is a misplay. Crim is in the position to be watching that. I don't know if it's a bomb carrier, if the bomb's not planted in the right spot. Is Crim in the right spot? You can't let that happen.
Well. Some of the fans in the area are not entirely enthused because that did not go the way they were thinking.
Good. But well, here we go then. London on the attack. They do prefer an A site hit themselves. For all that New York have their struggles here, London do not. 79% of the time when they are attacking A, they are finding a round. Which is, when you think about that, that is quite substantial.
It is Kismet though, first blood, and Nasty's gonna try and thread the needle here. Paulehx might find his ankles bitten away, but no, he's been traded down. Kismet is looking over his teammate. He is safe, he is good, and now New York have the advantage.
2v4. So we've seen yesterday from the side of London, though, they're quite happy to take their time, find these picks. Desert Siege, well, they may well not find one here. Gizmo will get taken down. Afro inside of Palace is where he likes to apply his trade, but I don't think he's going to find much here. Shots ringing on through the Palace, and Afro now trying to get out, trying to find something. He surely will be taking down New York, even the odds.
Really good regain there from New York, getting it straight back into it. Let's have a little replay of that needed defuse, and like I said, we were trying not to give anything away here in the arena. But Afro, patience.
So Crim, you can see he's looking at it. You can see he's checking it from where he is. You know, honestly, I think that bomb's just a little bit too close. You maybe put it out closer to where Afro's player cam is, a little bit further towards that side, and Crim would have had views, and he would have been like, well, I couldn't see him. I think, honestly, that comes down to the bomb plant, but when it does come down to New York, Kismet, 4 kills to his name, Paulehx only the 1. Only 1 for the side of Ravens, but they have a round. That's the more important thing. It's it.
They do. Here come New York again, though. Looking to convert this one more time.
Yeah, breakoff's not working for them usually.
Oh, Hydra gets across, though. And Afro isn't able to convert anything for this. New York in a better position. Mack controls slowly but surely, swinging their way. And they're going to want to do something around this bomb site. London are stacked against it, though. They know what is happening.
Yeah, London have actually played this wonderfully. Gizmo will find the kill on the Crimsix as well. Bomb though will go down. Hydra will get it. Will he get out as well? That's the important thing. Yes, he does. Still a 4v3, now a 4v2.
And New York will now put as much pressure onto this side as possible. They know New York have to check it. Keep an eye. Kismet is all the way around the back, and that's going to hurt them. Afro finds one more though, and Kismet is not able to escape. London had too many bodies left alive. The defuse in the end is easy, and they go up 2-1.
Yeah, Kismet just a little bit unfortunate at the time in that. Finds the first kill, but needs Paul to stay alive in that moment. Because he's run from behind, because now he makes it a 2 versus 3, of course, still in London's favor. That chaos is then created, though, isn't it? You're behind them. If you fall, you just stay alive as best as you possibly can at that stage, but London forced it out. Good play from them. And once again, it's another round over towards A that does not work out for New York. Attacking rounds have pretty much been their downfall, I'm going to say, on Desert Siege, albeit one of the better teams on this map. So far, so good for London.
Well, London now on the attack again. They won't want to let this one go. They'll try and get this lead as far forward as possible. Zero with the sniper. At the moment, New York only really have one player over towards B, but London are playing a little bit coy. They are waiting to see if anybody gets aggressive.
First blood over towards New York. We talked about those first bloods for London being so influential. Not going to find them this time, Afro. Be careful. Shots through, that's big. 3v3.
Gizmo's in a little bit of no man's land. He might need some reinforcements. Hydra's already gone down, and Gizmo's going to try and get out of this one. He's folded! Oh my god! How on earth did Gizmo stay alive there? Nasty gets another one, and Paulehx is left alone in a 1 versus 2 with the sniper. He cannot believe his teammate has gone down, but he gets the first one. Brings it down on 1v1 versus Nasty. And the boomstick is banging. Can he find one more kill?
Nasty will find his way out. 40 seconds to play with here, and he just has to be patient. He's holding the angles. He's going to see him. Oh, the hitmarker comes in. Nasty survives.
And now Nasty's going to be a little bit worried for it. Does he hold this? Does Paulehx hold it? Exactly where each other are, they don't know. They come into it as well, and it will be Nasty in the end. Holds it by the skin of his teeth. The hit marker, devastating to New York. Paulehx did basically everything right. A millimeter, a pixel further up into the lethal area, and it would have been the clutch.
I think it might have been his arm, to be honest with you. It's a tough one, isn't it? One of those situations you just can't really apply it, can you? It's one of those where you expect him to drop if you hit this shot. And a shake of the head there, yeah, that is tough. That's a round difference. That hit marker, 3-1 now to the Ravens. Nasty on a 5 spree, continuing his good form in this series. Big hit, though, coming from London. Look at the aggression.
He's being aggressive, but they haven't traded effectively. London are now down a man. Hydra gets out of there as well, and he stays alive. Nasty's worrying about it. I don't know if they can do anything for this one. Nasty's going to try and play this! 6 streak for him. He does not want to give away his life cheaply.
A round loss and a glide bomb would not be the worst thing in the world here for London. Of course, they will still try and go on and win it. Zero trying to look to find the pick to maybe then release Nasty to do something. Oh, watch your head! He jumps on up, and Zero will say thank you very much, 2v2, but look at the flank.
Kismet gets him, and Nasty will probably just play this one for the glide now. Doesn't really have the time. He's going to find Hydra. That's the glide in the pocket.
15 seconds. He can now try for this.
I don't know, Ton. I really don't know. Time, when it's that short, it causes all kinds of issues. And realistically, he knows it's not going to go for him. Kismet just says, all right, thank you very much. The clock killed them in the end.
Yeah, I meant more so the fact that he finds that glide bomb, it kind of releases that pressure. I wonder if London maybe play that a little bit differently if he's not in that situation. But I think, you know, in that scenario, you're in a 3v4, the bomb is down. Anything you can do, anything you can find is fantastic. Kismet, 8-3. Nasty, 7-3. Both these guys really going at it here on Desert Siege.
They are, and it is very, very close between them. We said this map was good for both teams, obviously. London have a ridiculous kind of opportunity to keep that first stats in line. Basically, it does favour them, but this is champs. Anything can happen as Kismet goes straight out there.
Traded.
Back to a 9-3. It will go down to a 3 versus 3, but there are bullets flying everywhere. Afro finds a second.
Good with the SMG and also with the auto. Who'd have thought? Zero having a little peek around the outside over towards B. Still a bit of a neutral attack here for the side of Royal Ravens. It does work out for them quite often as well. The attacking round's very solid, but the defense even better. If we can find another attack here, they will feel super confident heading into the rest of it. But New York just trying their hardest to slow them down. But Ravens quite happy to be slow. Crimsix has been spotted, tagged up. Plenty of health left remaining, but we'll have to back on down.
And now, with the time remaining, New York have an opportunity here. If they can find a pick and slow down the Ravens just a bit, they can bleed off that advantage. Oh, Zero finds something, but it's not going to be enough.
Is that going to give the moment, though, for the side of Ravens to possibly do something here? Just a little bit of pressure. Unrelented slightly, and New York have a 2v3 on their hands.
Can New York find a pick? Can they open this map back up for the retake? Crimsix, veteran of so many champs, trying to find something here as well. Paulehx tries to get against Gizmo, but they haven't found anything yet. With 28 seconds left to go, he finds the first, and it is going to go down. London Royal Ravens, they convert it. They had all the advantages. New York were trying to headbutt that wall, and it didn't work out.
A really, really good example of patient play on the side of London. They know they have the numbers. They don't have to force that issue. As soon as that bomb does go down, though, in the advantageous situation, they sit tight, they wait for them to come to them, and it is an easy round in the end. 4-2 now. If London can hold this defense, they are in prime position. New York need to find something. Hydra 1-4 has not been able to get things going. Neither is 0 on the side of London. Maybe expect a little bit more aggression out of Subliners now. Here we go, in the pulse we go.
It's aggressive. They can try and change the tempo of this one. It hasn't been working for them as well. Hydra's going to find Afro. It's going to be a reach out coming straight through. And Hydra says, all right, thank you very much. Here's the pre-fire. Afro eventually brings it back to 3 versus 3 as the pressure continues to mount as both teams go down to 2-2.
Look where the bomb is, though. New York have lost out in a terrible spot. I'm not too sure if London Royal Ravens are too aware of it. Oh, Paul gets terrible timing. And all of a sudden, Crimsix on an island all on his own. 1 versus 2 for him. And that is not where you want to see the bomb if you're an attacker player.
They've never needed Crimsix more. Can he be the magic they need? Can he be the man everybody has been talking about? He made it a chance. He had the story. And a 1v2 would help them bounce back.
You can see Nasty on Overwatch right now. They must have spotted, they know what's going on here. Crimsix comes for the push, and Nasty is ready and waiting. Continues his dominance over this series. Just has not slowed down.
I think he was a little bit upset yesterday, actually, about his performance in that very first game. So, giving himself a hell of a pep talk to come back into this one, and is putting New York down at the moment. One more round will give London a 2-0 lead in this series. But New York have done the impossible before. It's the entire reason they are at champs. They need it again.
And a lot of people talk about London. You've got the veterancy, the leadership of Zero, Gizmo and Afro, youngsters coming in. But Nasty's kind of, I want to say, slipped under the radar at times, but he has constantly been doing his job for this team. 4 from him, 5-2 for London Royal Ravens. But look at the setup here from New York.
They've gone aggressive. They've taken all the map control away from London. The nades are raining through for both sides. Afro trying to get away from that one. He is going to stay forward.
I was about to say, remember that he's got a glide bomb. You've got to be careful of your subliners. At least somebody dies. Yeah, surely, no, he finds nothing. So maybe a little bit of a misplay by London, but nonetheless, that gives them that pressure to then push over. And here we go. The bomb's going to be going down to 4 versus 4 retake for Subliners. You need it.
Can they get in position in time? Kismet's going to be found as well. Zero opens up with the first blood. New York have to move now. They have to be greater than London in every single trade. And Paulehx is looking, and London are throwing shoulders. London are setting up. They are wondering where the Subliners are as bullets start to fly for them. Hydra's making a move. Zero's about to be caught. Surely no. Afro finds another one. New York in a 2 versus 4. Paulehx trying to get it. He goes down as well. And Crimsix, last alive, drops. And the Ravens go 2-0 up against the Subliners. And they are happy, they are smiling, and they are locked in.
A really good performance from London. All the way through, it never felt likely. Immediately from the word go. If you're the Subliners, you let that ninja come through in round number 1. Does that just set the precedence for the rest of the game? A 6-2 win for London. But look at that score. 10-6 from Kismet. Somebody help him. Somebody help him. He had a good game, but nothing else to be offered from the rest of Subliners. Nasty and co. have their way with them. Look at the damage out of Nasty. 1,200 in 8 rounds of search and destroy. That's such a solid game out of him.
Yeah, they were just unable to really find anything going, and the trading didn't go their way either. We said there were a few opportunities for London, but hey, maybe that was all sold in that first round. They needed a fuse, 3 versus 3. And since that point, London did look like the better team. There were flashes of brilliance from New York. They were on the cusp a few times of winning a round here or there, but it's not to be, and now they find themselves in a horrible position.
They do find themselves in a horrible position, Brycey, but you're going over towards control. London's recent form, though, 2-0, so maybe the tides are turning for them, but recently it has not been fantastic. I think that's 2-6 over the last 8. Yeah. They have turned it up, but heading with Gavutu control, we have not seen from London in quite some time. New York still have a chance.
They certainly do. We will find out exactly how the rest of this series plays out. All map 5s yesterday, and New York will be hoping to go that distance again. They'll be hoping for a reverse sweep to keep the dream alive. But the truth is this, one more map loss and we say goodbye to New York and London move forward. We will find out what happens after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you right after this.
I'm too exhausted, I needed the energy, needed to pick me up. I'm in your movie, but this is my cinema. I got that power, I'm built to devour. Anyone coming against me, I tower. I don't cave in the pressure. Some of y'all leaving here in the stretcher. Took my time to go and get better. I was reading in the red letters. Ay, hit me with your best shot. I got time today. Feeling like a matador with that Red Bull. Oh, no, you can't stop me. I'm running my own play. For the game win, I came to pin anything that gets in my way. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, energy. Energy, energy, energy. I need that. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, energy. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, energy. Been here, we done that. We done that. You all know what we came for. You all know what we came for. We been here, we done that. We done that. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, energy. I'm in the game like EA. Been in my prime since pre-K. Shooting my shot from long range. Going over here's a good two-day. Treat every day like payday. Y'all been living so mundane. My work week is Sunday to oh wait, that's every day. Putting in overtime. Punching the clock, I'ma get what's mine. While everyone's sleeping, I'm living my dreams. I got a coin that's so divine. Lord, take the wheel like 10 and 2. I'm losing energy, I'm overdue. I've been on the top ropes, hitting my pulls. Watch me hit the power moves. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, energy. Energy, energy, energy. I need that. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Been here, done that. You all know what we came for. Energy, energy, energy. I need that energy, energy. Energy, energy.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew and Zenny. Armor your eyes with Blocks gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League Championship weekend. The London Royal Ravens and the New York Subliners are going head-to-head at the Garland Center here in Los Angeles. If you are just joining us, first of all, where have you been? But second, at the moment, London are leading 2-0 against New York. And one of the reasons is going to be our scuff play of the game. The man, the myth, the legend. It's Nasty.
Player of the game, if anything, yeah. He was absolutely sensational for the Ravens, not just in the halfway, but also in the Search and Destroy. But this is the kind of performance that we have come to expect from him when it has come down to land. We did not see it yesterday up against Surge. We are seeing every single one of the examples of it here up against the Subliners. A really solid performance from Nasty so far in the comparison that we have seen from him from yesterday to today. A 1.56 over the first 2 maps.
Yeah, and that's a big bounce back from yesterday, dropping like 0.76 or something along the lines of the Seattle Surge. But London and Nasty has come to play, and that is a dagger in the side of New York. But everything is still to play for. It is not over. It is not done. Reverse sweeps are possible and probably more than plausible, considering something like 21 of the last 29 games have gone the distance.
Yeah, that very well could happen here as well. Looking at that map set, we've talked about it a few times already. The start of it favors both teams. Both these two teams are very solid on the first 2 maps that we've seen, but it's London with the advantage. But towards the back end of this series, things are looking good for the side of Subliners. We were discussing, though, in the green room about the AR side of things for both these two teams. New York very much went for the challenge on the AR-based maps, but for the side of Nasty, performing like this, is that maybe a mistake from them in this sense? Because he's been so good. When you looked at this map pool in particular, you thought, right, okay, they want to maybe try and nullify Afro a little bit after his performance yesterday, but then they've got Nasty showing up against them now, so it's a bit of a pickle.
Something we forgot about.
Oh, go on.
Gizmo. He did it yesterday, that same position on Desert Siege. We forgot to highlight it, the challenge against Kismet. If you remember when he was outside towards the treads.
Yeah.
How on earth he keeps doing that, I do not know. But anyway, from the S&D into the control, Tony, you are very right. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a meme, a little bit of joked about for London, the fact they could not win a control. But the last 2 have been good. And if they want to go 3-6, this will be the best possible time for them.
I think, honestly, the stats that kind of compare for me here, last in round win percentage if you're London, but 3rd in average ticks. It's not that they're failing completely, it's just those clutch little moments here and there. Some of that kind of applies over towards map 5. If we get there, we'll discuss that as well. But nonetheless, the KD, the stats don't necessarily look fantastic for London, but if you were to look at the last 2 games that they played, you would think great. However, when it has come down to Control and Kavutu, last time around these 2 teams played, 3-0 for New York Subliners. We have not seen this game mode from the side of the London Aurora Ravens since Gizmo came back in, or sorry, I should say the combination of map and mode. Subliners, we've only seen it once from them over stage 4 as well. They lost that too, so neither one of these teams with a win on this map in particular over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of an unknown variable for the both of them, and that's what makes it so exciting. But I have said it pretty much after every single map, London kind of need to do this early. It doesn't really favor them in the late half of this game, so
Map
we'll
4,
have to see.
Yeah, map 4 is a bit of a toss-up. Map 5 is not, though. And honestly, I mean, if I would, I'm going to save it. I've got a couple of stats around map 5 if we do get there. We'll maybe talk about it then. We've got a Kavutu control to get through first. As said, when it has come down to control, it has not been good for the side of London. But if Nasty keeps playing this way, it is going to be hard for the side of the New York Subliners to bring this one back. Overall in this season, the offensive win percentage has been there for London. Recently, it has very much not. The average ticks is not necessarily being a problem. We've seen a couple of good games on this map in particular, although over the major, can we see something special here from both of these squads? Subliners, as you said, the dream was somewhat continued after their own major. They found themselves here in Champs, but they are now in do or die territory. As we head into map number 3, they're 2 down, they lose this, they are done.
If you're a New York fan, cross the fingers, cross the toes, and get ready. Glory is 3 maps away. Can they hold on as we go straight into this control? New York going to be on the attack first of all. And he's not got that first blood, but there is a bit of pressure coming over towards B.
Big over commitment for the side of New York Subliners towards B. Ravens didn't send anyone over there momentarily, but eventually Zero will clear it out. P1 control is something I talk about so often. It's about this fight. It's been a very slow push from Crimsix. He's going to get caught out though. Zero with a good start, and all these kills starting to come through. That's big for the Royal Ravens now. They can clear Kismet out as well. It's dangerous scenario, but it's a big kill from him. They could have got spawn trapped there.
Yeah, Kismet, absolutely crucial. Had to stay alive, had to make sure that door remained open. That blender was starting to spin, but it is no good at the moment. New York is still trying to get out of this one as well. Hydra definitely trying to stay alive. But getting a few more kills. But New York are battling with this one. They are not going without a fight, and they have made their way in a boat.
Eventually, the trades do work out in their favor. little bit of map control, a little bit of presence over towards A. Zero on the longest, fattest flank you've ever seen. They have to be careful. When you overcommit to something like this, if you're the Ravens, you open up other areas of the map. Zero needs to execute here, as this has all been for nothing. Kills starting to fall through, though, for the side of London. Momentarily, it's only Crimsix in any sort of position to do something.
They managed to get a bit through here. Relieves that pressure. And Crimsix finds the magic they need. Afro going to find the first, but Crimsix is still alive and slowly but surely stopping that clock and doing the work he needs to. Crimsix finds a kill. Crimsix finds a second! They've opened up B. London were on the cusp of locking this one down. And now they have to commit resources. They have to get over to B. They've stopped it. But A is slowly getting towards that first tick.
He needs to stay alive. There's only 9 seconds left to go. Kismet is going to fall. Is anyone else there from New York to even get anything here? There's not been a single tick to be spoken of if you're New York. It is a perfect defensive hold from the side of Ravens.
And that's the way to open up. New York will put it into the blender early and never really recovered. But attack is one thing, defense is quite another. They can, of course, redeem themselves, bring this straight back to 1-1. The difference might be ticks, but we are nowhere near that yet.
They are still there for the side of Ravens. 7-2 from Gizmo. Nasty 5-3, 5-1 from Zero. These are such big numbers already. In round number 1, New York had no answer to that. After everything that's happened, after how they found themselves here, are they going to go out without a whimper like this? Surely not a team like this squad. Ravens, a big hit over towards B. New York ready for a Kismet. Is at least there too. Is he going to get taken down? He is. But the trade's working in favor of New York. Good hold so far. Zero good shots.
They got to be careful though. New York trying to put them in the blender, but they haven't managed to get the kills down yet. Kismet's going to be a 5 trigger. Be looking for that glide bomb as well. These trades have just erupted across Gavudu. London do not want to give away the position they've got.
Alive and ticking over towards P1 is something you want to see from an AR when you're on the attacking team. And there you go, there's number 6. A little bit of presence over towards B now here as well. The control's been so much better from the side of London over this past week. They looked fantastic yesterday against Surge. They're looking good here against New York. Could this be number 7 for Gizmo? Not going to happen. No glide bomb for him.
No, going to stop the clock though. Going to have Zero alone onto this one. He knows he's been contested. He's looking for the player, but it is going to be Kismet again. Pulls him out of fire. 8-8, the biggest player from New York at the moment in terms of slaying. And London will have to settle for boat control. They will have to settle for trying to get those ticks on the way.
Oh, shots from Paul. He's going to be able to now clear this out as London continue to pressure. Lives all even. Tick in for London though, so it's in a better attacking round. Irrelevant what happens, but 35 seconds left to go. They'll still want to see more than this.
New York trying to get him in that spawn trap that we've seen time and time again on Gavudu. Got to be careful. Zero actually just guns Paulehx off it as well. There's another kill going down towards Ring. London are not pushed back into their spawn. They are going to try and go for B one more time. That clock will stop. Nasty finds 2 towards the middle here. Afro's going to try and stay alive. Doesn't have any reinforcements though, and he's being all banged. He's trying to stay alive. Goes for the chow because, of course, eventually will go down. The amount of bullets ricochet.
But look what he does there. He makes that pressure over towards B, and everyone from New York commits over to it. It opens up the A side of the map for London. Is it maybe a potential misstep, or can the retake be good from New York? Afro on his way there is going to get caught by Hydra, but surviving nonetheless. Still inside A. 12 seconds to go here for London.
Trying to stay as well. They get a few kills going down, but Paulehx gets another one. London will jump back onto this point and expose himself potentially to Paulehx. Doesn't get a 0, and Afro
kills.
That's the first 2 coming through. London will probably just settle for this one, get that time on the board. For New York, defenses will now be thrown up. Ring control, beach, and make sure nobody gets through green.
Whatever happens here for the side of Ravens, though, it is a win. 3 ticks in their favor. They're going to be feeling good about it. It's a good attacking round so far.
It certainly is. Can London break this puzzle down? Let's find out with the London Royal Ravens. Listen in.
Beach, I'm watching you close heady, okay, bro? You know heady? Wide child.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what you want. Set up.
Come on side, come on side.
Wait for you on Hydra.
Come on,
Wait for you on Hydra.
come on.
Yeah, come on, come on.
You killed Kiz and Hydra, they both just got 2 kills.
Yeah, we need to fucking make sure that shit. Nate, listen, Nate P1, Nate P1, left side. Nate P1.
It's top out, is that top broken? Yeah, top broken. There's only one P1, there's only one P1. He's weak, should be dead for a nade. One shot. Check. Nice, you look a bit crit, Crim broken. Absolutely broken, guys, absolutely broken.
It's a 4 versus 5. Time is ticking. They're trying to get into this one. Kismet's going to try and hold them down. It's going to be Afro who gets into it originally. They have opened the puzzle. It's tense now. Nobody can afford to lose anything, and it's going to be Kismet with 2. Finds it. It's a 3 versus 2. Zero gets another one. It's Hydra and Crimsix to try and pull this one out of the fire. Hydra's there. Kismet goes for the chow. Hydra gets the first one. It's a 2 versus 2.
But the thing is here for New York, they're the ones that have to move. Nasty covering the next gunfight is absolutely massive. Oh my god, it ships in the night. Hydra gets away. And all of a sudden, Crimsix towards the back surviving. Hydra now on the flank. out, surviving as best as he can. And New York continue to survive here at the championship weekend.
London were on the cusp of having it. They forgot about the Phenom waiting in the wings. They clutch up, they hold it down, they deny London an easy 2-0.
If you were to take an outside look of that one, though, for the side of London, it is still a massive win of what they found in that attacking round. New York no-takes London. Minimum of 3. I'm not too sure if they actually got one over towards B towards that end there. I was too concerned at the gunfight, to be frank. But nonetheless, London in the lead in terms of ticks. Defense is currently in their hands if we do get to a round number 5.
It's a big push from New York, straight into both this time around. No messing, and Zero gets a team kill. And already New York trying to make this progress very, very quick. They know they're behind on ticks for that defense. But they have much better position. This attacking round has already gone better than the previous.
Those ticks going to come on through for the side of the New York Subliners when it comes down the attack. Nasty may well have found that kill had he managed to find the jump. Kismet trying to retake here. New York are really dug in. Good shots from Nasty as he's able to find the second. Kismet is tagged up from the pressure in mid-map is Zero. Hydra trades it. Back and forth we go. London with a little bit more support here though. A little bit more map presence, but that is very much short-lived as New York find a way in.
New York take this one away, and now it's going to be on the London. How much they commit to this, how many lives they throw into the bin, trying to deflect it. You can see they've got for P1 control, but Hydra's going to go for this one. Finds Afro as well. He's putting London on the back foot. They eventually trade him out, but it has given New York time, and he's going through on A.
London may actually have a sniff at this now. Or is it going to go over? No time to get themselves over towards it. So that's 3 ticks in now for the side of New York. Over towards A. It's about map control from London. Gizmo's going to get caught out here as well. So all of a sudden, these next couple of gunfights are crucial, and Hydra's going to find one. It's a lot of map control here for the side of New York, and a lot of time to push towards B.
New York can smell this. They know everybody from London's coming off that respawn, and Paulehx is going to be there. He's causing issues. He's causing problems. Paulehx just gets around the back, and they have to deal with him. They have to try and find him. The kills are all New York. Paulehx finds another one, and New York are in.
It's been such a poor performance for the side of London on this round, but New York have been sensational. Every kill they've needed to find, they have found it. The bullets have rained on through, though. You still have to get it done when it does come down to this attacking round, but that's at least one takeover towards B. Paulehx finding more, and there's number 7, and there's the glide bomb as well.
And this is so dangerous now for London. They are down live significantly. They are being gunned across Kavoodoo.
Here it comes as well. They want to secure this. They're not quite happy with just a couple of ticks. There's the kills, and look at the lives remaining. This is all but a New York round. It would take something quite special from London here.
So they're trying to do something. Zero trying to hold it as well. Crimsix laying down, finds Gizmo towards the back, and every single kill that New York find is devastating. Paulehx gets on the point, he stops the clock, and Afro eventually trades it away, but London can't afford to trade. They don't have the numbers.
They need a perfect 4 down, and they need to be able to shove up the map. Nasty will find the first one though. New York will have to slow down as that time does tick. New York may well just get a little bit more tense. Kills starting to come through for London, Brycey.
This is the problem. London have to be almost flawless. It is not about holding them at this point. It is holding them for the full 45 seconds.
Nasty's not going to get out. No lives remaining now for the side of London. 11 v 4, 39 seconds remaining. The time is on the side for New York here. They do have time. London, as said, need to be perfect.
Be careful here, but Crimsix has found him, and New York have the advantage. There's only 3 players from London remaining. They will now apply the pressure. Gizmo is in no man's land. He's trying to stay alive. Hydra gets away for just a few seconds, but it's Kismet. Kismet through the back, finds one! Not going to be in second though, but it's now a 2 versus 8!
Oh, that's
Gizmo
big!
finds another!
The time, there's only 15 seconds to go, even though it is a 2 versus 7, New York need to go quickly.
They're pushing this, they're going to try to hit every single angle at the same time. They have to move. New York are running it down. Nasty finds the first one as well. You can see Crimsix is in a position as well. Hydra gets it. It's now just Gizmo. Gizmo finds one and not anymore. New York make sure they get their attacking round they work so hard for, and they go up 2-1.
I think it's got a little bit scary if you're a New York fan there. London held so well. Because New York had so much time, they were taking their time. And that's what made things scary in a certain sense. But because of the fact that they took their time, London pushed up into guns that were already ready and waiting. Really good job from New York there. And for all the good work that London did on their first defense, it is completely nullified by the fact you lose your second.
And now London. How the momentum has shifted. They were so close to being up in this series, and now they are so close to losing it. They have to win an attacking round.
Just think back to the second round. They came quite close to being able to find something over towards that B side themselves. So this one is not cut and dry yet, Bryce.
Looking for it, Nasty finds one. She's going to try and get 8 in a minute, not lose too many lives. Still a long way to go for them. This is New York's to lose.
Bear in mind, as said, that first round still may well pay dividends for London. If they can find an attacking round here, they should have defense for round number 5.
Oh, that's going to be 3 down. Crimsix going to try and stay alive, play his life. At the moment, not really a big commitment coming in towards the boat here. They're just going to try and make sure they don't throw this one away at all. Hydra just tricking every single angle for it.
The shots. Sometimes you can be a little bit tentative, and that's not what they're doing now. The shots coming on through. Zero staying alive inside the point was crucial for London. If you can find a second, that would be huge. Kismet was there. The backup is there. Kismet just trying to slow them down. They're on the way in. Concentrating on trying to find these kills. Nasty will be the first on the chopping block, but Gizmo inside the point. The time will be stopped from London. They get themselves inside in just a second. They're 1 tick away from getting a hold of A and extending that time by 1 minute.
Being careful. Gizmo finds an absolute beam on a Paulehx. No, the pressure's going to come through, but the reload's going to get it. It's Hydra again. That tick will slowly be trying to come in. They're putting the pressure on them, though. I don't think they want them to get this. It's been contested, and it has. New York have stopped it. And keep an eye where Kismet is. He's going to try and put them in the blender here. London may not have an opportunity to get anything.
A crucial moment in this map for the side of London. They can't get rid of Kismet. He's been ever present for the side of New York, and with 25 seconds to go, they need to get rid of him on beach. They have everything to do. 22 seconds to push towards it.
They cannot find the trades. They cannot find a position where they want to get to. aBeZy channel around the front. Eventually does find it, but time is still ticking. New York just need a few kills, and they will put London down in this control. Looking for it. Kismet finds another one. They're desperately trying to get into the stop. This clock here, but Hydra holds them off. Nasty has to make a hero play, and he knows he has to. And by the way, London are on B.
They're on B. They've stopped the time. But here come the rest of New York now. Push will start coming through. This is still doable for the side of London. The live's not in their favor. The time not in their favor. They need to find something over towards aBeZy. Finds nothing there, but he's detracted away from the goal for London, which was extending that time they're going to get to do so.
Now London do not have the lives to throw away again. 8 versus 13. They had to bleed everything just for a chance to tie this up. Will they hold their nerve? Is there anything left for London, or have New York done the damage?
We know, though, when it comes down to control, you can dominate a round, and all of a sudden a 4 down can change the tide. Hydra on the outside will find Zero. He will slow London down just that little bit. 7 lives remaining, 35 seconds on top.
They've got to dig Hydra out. They've got to find their way through so many here's. It's all New York. It's all about New York at the moment. This is their game to lose as Hydra stays alive and finds another one. Crimsix gets one more, and it's a dagger as Hydra refuses to bow before London's pressure. And London have to be flawless. They don't have the lives, they don't have the time, and they don't have this map.
A really solid performance from the side of New York. I don't know if London are going to have the time. They're not going to have the numbers. That attacking round.
New York have been glorious. They have taken the control. They have stayed alive here at Champs. And this is what we were talking about. It ain't over till it's over.
We knew control could be a bit of a swing. We knew it was going to be difficult. But for London, it's lost in that defensive round. You cannot let that slide. And Crim7's happy about that one. 2 more maps to go, my friend. The maths is not difficult. New York know they can bring this one back. And the job has only just started.
The magic is still in the air. New York remain unbroken. Hydra holding them down. Like I said before, 29-23 for him, but crucial kills. A 2 versus 3 clutch by him and Crimsix, staying alive, playing London like a fiddle. This is what makes New York so dangerous, and with a little bit of momentum on their side, this could go all the way. This could be a reverse sweep. We could be seeing more magic at Champs.
Yeah, we might as well just send it to map number 5 at this stage, might as well. I mean, look, that one, London was so good on their first defensive round. So good. The second round, where it looked like they may well find an attack, and it was a clutch up from New York. Remember that 2 versus 3? It's not long ago. But considering the round after that, New York then find an attack themselves. 2 rounds that just do not go London's way. And all of a sudden, New York, driving position, need to hold your defense. It is a good control, and the end from them. But London will rue some mistakes there. They had chances. They had chances, Bryce.
They did, but New York were just better, like the ice, to hold down that attacking round.
Yeah, Hydra went huge. Absolutely massive from him.
And they just got the slaying on board. You got to remember, New York, they just kept putting themselves in a great position. They were winning everywhere on that map. That's one of the things we expected for them. Of course, London, they were 2-0 in kind of controls recently, but they've lost another one. That is now 2-7 for them.
Both on Berlins. Haven't seen much from Gavutu from them. You know, it makes a difference. It does make a difference. It's 1-1 over the stage 4 for New York Subliners when it comes down to Gavutu. London yet to win it over the last, what, I want to say 2 months or something. So it was always a map that was going to favor the side of New York. I think London would have known that. But looking towards the last two, Berlin Hardpoint, we've seen London lose it yesterday by the slenderest of margins to the Seattle Surge. They want to right that wrong here up against New York, though.
Coaching coming in now, make sure London stay on track. New York will be doing the exact same thing. Full regain from London and New York. They can smell a little bit of blood in the water. And that's what they'll want here. They do not want to go out like this. They have avoided the 3-0. But still, 2 more maps they need to move forward in this tournament and realize the dreams.
Still very doable for the side of New York here. London will have the lead, but sometimes that momentum can just swing, can't it? But I think they would have known heading into this that Gavutu is not necessarily a map that favors them in any sense of the imagination. So I think they would have known that this is not going to be an easy 3-0. They would have prepared for Berlin, a doubleheader to finish things off. It's map number 5 that scares me for the side of London, Bryce. I honestly feel like they do need to close it out here. Statistically, it leans towards New York. Look at a few stats that will throw your way if we do indeed get there. But map number 4 is a scary one too.
It is very, very scary. We said we think London need to do this early. New York, probably, the favour is swinging their way. They have a lot of support here in the crowd as well. In fact, there's some sort of pep talk going on at the front. I don't know what's happening, but somebody is pumped up in the Garden Centre.
They're trying to get the crowd hyped up.
They're trying to get them on their feet. The pep talks, we love it. We love the energy.
It was a wonderful, wonderful major back in New York. Crim7, all the New York staff did such a good job. Best event of the year so far. Sorry, every other franchise that we did see.
And they're trying to warm them up, trying to get everybody hyped, trying to get the fans behind their team to just give them that tiny extra bit of difference.
Is that £5 note?
It's a £5 note. Well, it looks like the crowd's a little bit more divided here than in the major, but it doesn't matter. What does matter is the gameplay. What matters is the hard point. What matters is the scoreline. We are going to find out. Here are the series stats for them. You can see Nasty slowed down, gives him a Nasty both on the 1.2, Afro 0.78, but Berlin is a little bit more his kind of map, 0 on a 0.96.
I mean, how good did Afro look on this map yesterday? Has to be said, but for the New York Subliners, the slaying hasn't necessarily been there. Hydra and Kismet, though, have been the only ever present. Kismet had a good map number 2. Hydra had a decent map number 1. They've been there, but they need to be more than there here when it does come down to Berlin Hardpoint over the season. Of course, it is a 12-9 record for the side of London, 13-6 for New York, and New York 5-1 over stage 4. London are going to have to bring the heat here.
They are. They're going to get into P1 first, of course. That is the preferred side. New York looking for this. The Afro opens up instantly. Paulehx trying to back Nasty, gets one onto Hydra as well. They've got to be careful here. Paulehx is trying to stay alive. Crimsix finds another one, and the pressure will now come onto London.
I think it's something still like an 8-1 victory record for the side that starts on the good side when it has come down to Berlin. New York just trying to find a route through here. Kismet alive and kicking though. Inside the hill needs a little bit of support. The flank comes in from Kismet. Can't find a second. That's the inside point. Ellie finds another of his own. Good job from New York. Break on through with 20 seconds to go. It's a nice break.
Huge from New York to get in there at that point. They executed perfectly, bringing this back to a tie game. You can now see both teams going over it. New York are going to try and get in a fire and cut off the reinforcements they know are coming from London. And Kismet gets this one as well. And they are now opening up the taps onto London. They are gutting them down left, right, and center.
That's a lot of kills in a row coming in from the side of Subliners at the perfect time. London, because of that beneficial side, though, do get a good chunk of time, even though they pretty much get wiped off the map. Now the rotation over towards P2 is important. P3 also is something you have to consider, but London have to consider winning a gunfight at some stage here. Hydra skating around inside of P2. Crimsix will help them out. Still time towards New York.
New York have stacked this heavy as well. Every single way they go, there are just bodies ready to cut them down, and London can't find anything. New York are just getting gunned. There's Hydra now on a 4 streak, and they have flipped the spawns as well. New York are playing perfect hardpoint.
A disastrous start, though, for the side of London. Nothing has went their way so far. Spawning towards dark side. Paul on a 5 spree. Hydra on 5 spree of his own. Can he keep this one going? 2 more for the glide bomb. Can he manage to lock this one in? There's number 2 and not there. Now the spawns have flipped again though, so both teams being very haphazard in terms of locking down these fire spawns. We know how important they can be. 10 seconds to score on P2, London are left for P3.
Huge gunfight for Paulehx. He's into fire now, and London will have to react to it. They wanted to push them back as far as possible. Nasty eventually shuts him down, but still the pressure coming in from New York. They are unrelenting. They are hunting down London everywhere they find them. Kismet takes one down to the docks. Nasty goes down into fire, and New York again put the pressure onto the Ravens.
The spawn's out, going to come on through. Zero now behind. He is going to very much find the kill onto Paulehx, but nobody else from London able to survive. For all that, it has felt like New York have dominated. It is nothing in it score-wise. 4 spree now coming in from the side of Kismet. The slaying has been on point for New York, but can they find something to count for it? Through the front door, Nasty going to find nothing. It is a perfect break from New York in the end. 30 seconds to play for. London are chalking it up.
They should do as well. They haven't really got going into this one, as they've got Hydra to try and battle against. He's 11-4, Crimsix is 6-4. Slaying is paying the bills here at the moment. And New York have caught fire.
After 3-10. How good he looked against Surge yesterday. He's going to have to start turning it up here for the side of London pretty quickly, as New York. Things will maybe get a little bit silly. It's a slow, meticulous way through the middle of the map here for the side of New York. They've trapped London in, but the gunfights are the ones that are important.
They're looking for them. This is still very, very slow. They are trying to find that first blood, trying to find it open as well. There's a kill towards the back. Crimsix is now closing this gap. Crimsix is going to go straight in, and that is unbelievable amount of shots coming out of Kismet. Just completely destroys him, and now New York are in.
And that was the glide bomb coming in from Kismet. It is all orchestrated by the side of Crim. Finds a kill towards the back, and the rest of the team then collapse on down. But London have found a few of their own. Can they find a route through here? Time on the board for them. And that's, as we said though, it has felt dominant. You've seen that kill feed is mostly looking exactly like that. But all for that, New York, yes, they've got a lead, but you would have thought it would be more.
Well, I'll tell you something, at the moment they look fully in control. New York have come alive in the second half of this series, and they are gunning. Hydra is 14-5. London are looking lost on Berlin.
SMG's making the difference here. Hydra, 14-5. Afro, 4-13. Up and close and personal. Hydra just is not missing bullets right now. The confidence seems to be there. Afro will find one. Paul will trade that one out, but importantly for London, they do have the side of the spawn that they started Berlin on. They need to make sure they make this count though. P5 time, going all the way over towards Subliners. That lead though, now is starting to grow. Spawns are so important for London to hold here.
It is, but there's a huge soak actually coming in from New York as well, and they're trying to just get this one. They want everything. They want P5, they want P1. Zero's got 9 health, eventually find something. And London stop the bleed for a few seconds. New York will try and push through, get them off a P5, and then go for P1. And London are trying to open this one up. It wasn't a great P1 from them to kick things off. They'll be looking for a much better second rotation.
It's a good start to it though. 10 seconds remaining here on P5. London have control of that. They have control of the spawns, control of tickets, everything you possibly want. If you're the side of London, to try and start the comeback here. Nasty getting aggressive for his team, just trying to force the issue up against New York. But that first hill is now ticking, and New York need to find a route through. And could it be through Hydra?
Well, he has been the man over and over again. And he is in the position. Keep an eye on Hydra as he goes to work over and over. And nobody's actually shot him yet. He's going to gunfight, but Hydra's found it, found the gap, found a second. And still staying alive as he just refuses to break. And they have broken London once again on P1.
It's just far too easy. The flank's always going to come in from someone. How often do you see teams just push through the front door when it comes down to P1? Never is the answer. It's always about the flank. London not watching it, they get punished for it. New York once again inside.
Oh my goodness, New York are taking over. This isn't even close.
P2 rotations starting to come in now for the side of London. They need to find a good hold of some hill at some point. They've kind of been chipping away, and it's not impossible. It is a 70-point game. New York have very much been in control throughout every single second of this one. But one good hold from London puts them back into it.
And they need it, and they need it sooner rather than later. Wasn't great P2 for them last time around. Afro going to try and hold this one down, but Kismet are already getting a few kills for it, and Afro tries to make sure nobody comes through him, and Nasty eventually will trade him out. And you are right, Ton. London are looking to lock this in and try to bring this game back to the realms of reality.
New York can maybe be ruining their mistakes, I want to say, for all the presence that they have, for all the pressure that they have. They have not been able to put London out of sight yet. That P2 hold from London has been fantastic so far. 25 seconds remaining though. They're going to have to be even better than that, as there comes the kills. There comes the spawns out from London as well. New York in a good spot, but that deficit has been reduced by London. Can they find themselves a way through towards P3? Can they disrupt the flow? That's not been working in their favor so far. It's a good amount of time at P2, but there's still plenty of work to do. The spawns are there for New York.
And this is going to be the problem. You can see the pressure from New York. They have that rotation. They have it locked. It's a long way for London. And while they brought it back a little bit on the P2, they are going to let that lead increase the longer they don't get to P3.
London notoriously fairly solid when it comes down to this P3 hold, but they haven't been the first ones there. Look at this break now coming through front fire. Everybody there from London.
It's locked in, trying to hold this one up. They're going to go down as well. Paulehx and Afro tries to get through, and Afro finds two. They managed to get into this point here, but the reinforcements are not there. They don't have the spawn either. New York will be looking to get the bodies here at the same time, and Afro, who has not been having a good series, is coming alive when they need him.
That's 4 in a row. 5 in a row! Oh my goodness, Afro! And we talk about these amount of kills that you have. It's not the amount, it's the important ones that are now coming through from Afro. It's a good break from London. They're still 40 points behind here, but it's felt like it's been all New York, and it is going to be all New York in that kill feed as the rotation starts to come over towards P4. London are not out of this yet, but New York, they're about to touch 200 points. London still 50 behind.
New York have had all the slaying, and they must continue this and not let this lead slip. They have not been as far ahead as we thought they might have been at this stage.
It's felt very one-sided, but yet the scoreline's not showing.
They're coming though. They are putting the pressure on. Afro's going to come through, and Kismet now going to use this glide bomb he earned so long ago. Afro, you're going to take this one to the teeth, my friend, unfortunately, and down he goes. And the pressure, Zero's going to try and stay alive. It's Zero versus Crimsix, and he does eventually get the gun, but it's not going to be enough. There are still too many New York players here. Hydra finds two, jumped out of the window, somehow finds a third, as Hydra continues to be a pain for London.
4 in a row from Hydra, and that third one looked absolutely disgusting from the other POV. Make it 5 from the French phenom. Gizmo eventually stops him. But again, all this control from New York, they aren't getting too much time from it. They are in the point now, 10 seconds to go. London thinking about P5 and then ultimately P1, where they have stunk the place out. Crimsix around the outside though will slow things down over towards P4. It is a 30-point game. Somehow, some way, Hydra will find another 26 and 18. His nemesis and Afro has not quite been there for the side of London. The kills are there for New York once again though, but the spawns are there for London.
The problem for London is they have to commit to P5. They can't allow New York to soak as Crimsix drops one onto Kismet's head.
Hydra again.
And he's looking for it. He wants to flip these spawns all the way back again, and unbelievable. Hydra has been a force to be reckoned with, and now New York are just putting the pain on. Crimsix is on 5. They are on to P5 as well, as Hydra finds 2 more.
It's been an absolute enigma on this map so far, 29 and 18. May well have found himself with a slow start to the series, but my goodness me, is he heated up yet. London still within this one. 40 points is the difference. They need to flip these spawns. There's 15 seconds to go before we head over towards P1. And it looks like New York in complete control of the map. Berlin is looking like there's 210 to 173. P1 control is there for London.
Oh, London, look, they're spawning on map 5 because they are so far away. And now we go into P1, something London haven't been great at when they were there first. They have to have a basically perfect break, but they don't have the spawns. The spawns are going to go for them as well. Nasty's going to try and stay alive, but that time is soaking. 25 seconds for New York.
Nasty staying alive around this area will be crucial, as the pin set is now set up from Ravens. Here comes the pinch. If Nasty can find something that would help, but now they just have to go. They have to go through the front door, 14 seconds away from New York, and they are fighting the kills, Pricey. Map 5 is pretty much beckoning.
Oh, Kismet finds 3. London are reeling. London are lost. London are 7 seconds away from being taken down and gone to a map 5 as Crimsix says, all right, I might try and get a glide bomb, doesn't really matter. The game is done, it's dusted, it's map 5 for New York. The reverse sweep was always on the cards, it was never counted out. And they have pushed, and they have fought, and they have bitten, scraped and scrapped. And they have made it to a map 5 ton.
As you said, it was always on the cards. With the control record coming in from London, it was always going to be difficult when we're heading into a map number 4 that suits New York. Hydra has arrived. The last 2 maps he has been so crucial to the side of the New York Subliners. And for all that game, it felt like they were in control every single moment of it. maybe didn't take them as easily as they would have thought that they would have got through it, because yes, the scoreline reflects that, but they were dominant all the way through. Honestly, if London had not got 100 points there, it wouldn't have humbled them by any sense of the imagination. They were not good there in map number 4. And now on map number 5 on the cards, Pricey, a search and destroy that does not look good for the side of London. It looks great for New York. The reverse sweep is well and truly on the cards.
It certainly is. We have been to map 5 already 4 times at this tournament. What a way to start off day number 2 by doing it again. It seems like map 5 is the name of the game at the moment. But of course, the stage has been set. One more map and we send a team home. Be it London or be it New York. One more opportunity, one more chance to get this job done and move forward or go home. The pressure is on, the intensity is in the building, and tears might flow. But all that and more is to come right after the break. You aren't going to want to miss it. A great day yesterday, maybe a better day today. We'll see you right after this.
One more round, let's fucking go! Let's fucking go!
Call of Duty League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official communication partner of the Call of Duty League. And AimLab, official first-person training partner of the Call of Duty League. Unleash your potential.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League Championship weekend. And yes, do not adjust your set. There is a dance-off going on in the arena, ton.
Oh my goodness me, Guy Blaze is getting his money worth here, isn't he, really? It has to be said. I mean, the ghillie suit and everything, my goodness me. FaZe fans can move. Who would have thought it? Oh my goodness. Oh, I mean, I don't need to say a damn thing here, do I?
No, there is not a lot to add to this.
I mean, I honestly have commentated a few crazy games in my time. That was not up there with what I thought I'd be commentating over. But nonetheless, it is a fiery map 5 potentially on the cards here, and what has been an absolute bomb burner of a series so far. We knew the reverse sweep was potentially on the cards, even when London went up 2-0. It was not done and dusted. New York bring it back. Map 5 we go.
They certainly do. Back to map 5 once again. Seems to be the way things go, but speaking of the way things go, we will find out. It is warm in LA, it is warm in this building. Right now, both teams need a little bit of ice, a little bit of patience, a little bit of calm, and a lot of gunny to make this one go their way. A reverse sweep for New York, or to London bury one of the favorites early on.
Stats tell a scintillating story for the side of London specifically, I would say. Having a look at the overall record, London are 3-10. New York 5-5 themselves. Over stage 4, London 0-1. One of the big ones for me, London 6 round 11s. They have not won a single one of them. They are pushing teams far in this one, but can they go the step further, or can New York continue the dream?
We're about to find out. That's a horrible stat to bring up at this point, but already it's coming down. It's going to be a big push coming through. Hydra finds Gizmo as well, continuing his run. And this side is now open. Nero trying to deflect as much pressure as he can, but London have lost 2 players already. New York have the advantage. They have the bomb planted. Is there anything to do for them? Can Zero get a 1 versus 3?
Looking like the reverse sweep is off to a perfect start for the side of New York. Hydra, the one with the first blood, gets them inside of A, and then from then on out, it is mission impossible for London. They fold early. And if he can continue the way he's been playing these last 2 maps, Pricey, London are in such a bad spot.
Well, this is where we talk about intensity and the emotion behind these players. They will be feeling it on this stage. Every single kill that goes against them, every single round they bleed off, will add to that feeling of dread that is slowly but surely creeping up the spine. But we will see who comes out on top. London now on the attack.
As said, I've spoken to London about this map before. They kept playing it, They were having struggles on it because so many round 11, so many clutch situations not going their way. And Crimsix setting up very passively has called them off guard. Avro will find one to rebuttal that. Gizmo will find another. So there you go, 3 versus 2. And Gizmo gets away just about 6 HP. But for me, look at this, where that bomb is. That is disastrous for the side of London. Why on earth is it there?
Well, London have decided to play a bit of sabotage, put the bomb a million miles away. How on earth does Zero win that with first bullet? Now he's running for his life, and Paulehx hasn't seen him properly. London have the advantage, a 2 versus 1 of a quite outrageous gunfight from Zero. Paulehx looking to clutch up. And the fans are getting behind them. The fans trying to scream out for their favorite player. But will it be enough? Is Paulehx the hero?
Oh, if he puts the shots in, the info will be there, but that bomb is down. 1v2 for Paul. London, what's the setup going to say for them? Well, they're sitting tight. Seems that way.
He's still looking, still trying to figure this one out.
He's got no information, not an ounce of it.
Probably forgotten what they look like. It hasn't seen them in so long.
And the problem is for him here is the thing, London can set up in a few different directions, can't they? But they've chose to just go back to Mack. Paul, here we go, 19 seconds to go. Shots going to start ringing on through. Gizmo will survive, and ultimately that might be his downfall. Paul still with so much to do. 13 seconds, no time on his side. It's ringing around the Rosie, and London find the round.
I have never seen a player look in more corners and more directions and somehow just not get lucky enough to find them. every single time. By the way, this was an unbelievable kill. Kismet jumps out onto him, and Zero just rips his eyebrows off and puts them away.
It's a massive kill as well. It's not just the gunfight that Zero had being outrageous. The fact that he finds that as well makes it a plausible situation for London. He then gets out. Wonderful, wonderful player by Zero. 2 streak for him. He'll look to continue this one as New York now onto the attack. It's a big B hit coming on through. They've been aggressive with their attacks so far, and it's the same old story. Get the bomb down, Kismet inside, waiting for Nasty. The overcommitment from London, and now that bomb will go down.
And that was a great play from New York. Held the nerves, knew exactly that somebody would be coming to chow, and with that bomb down, it firmly goes in their favor. New York just have to hold the right angle, find the right kills. Kismet finds the first player, and he's going to get him down to a 3 versus 3. But we all know this is a horrible place to attack.
All that grenade in, is it going to hurt? No, it isn't. Not even the hitmarker, so no information. Crimsix is going to be the one to hold, but for all that pressure that comes on through, Kismet is then distracted, but still work for London to do. Gizmo gets up close and personal. Crimsix knows he's coming. The distraction tactic is maybe potentially there. Crimsix towards the back will fall. Does find one, 2v1.
Looking for Paulehx, they're going to go for it. Paulehx holds it, keeps firing, tries to get it as well. Zero has to throw it down. Paulehx has held his fire. And oh my goodness, they clutch up. The pressure was on, but New York, they do enough.
The fact that Crimsix even finds one there is what pretty much wins them the round, because then Gizmo's the only one who can challenge Paul. The AR in that position. This man's not going to lose that gunfight. Fantastic work from him. Stays alive. Time's on his side. And New York find the round.
New York up now, 2-1. The reverse sweep, still just a little twinkle in the eye. And they will go on the defensive here. We can already see it's going to be a big hit for London. They are pushing straight across. That information will come through them as well. They're going to know there's numbers here.
Look at this aggression. Afro, has he really got going in this series? It feels like that has been a bit of a problem for London. For all that Hydra has then started to heat up, Afro has not been as ever-present as we so often do. This is even to be for the side of London Royal Ravens, but there's a lot of pressure here over towards A. New York already set up, and well, you wonder if they're going to stick a twist. Twist seems to be the answer, but look at Zero towards the back. Is that info going to be there for him? I don't know if it is.
I think so. Be careful. They obviously will be called out. Zero's looking for these players. But it has been a little bit quiet on Berlin for an aggressive start, and Zero almost catches it in the teeth. Hydra gets the first blood. And now London are struggling to try and figure out exactly where they want to go. As Kismet finds his way into the side and already takes him down. New York have the advantage again.
London just choose not to commit to the control that they have. New York tighten their grip, and all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more difficult, but Afro just says, right, screw it, let's get the bomb down and see what we can do. 2 versus 3.
Outnumbered here, London, and Zero's going to go down. It has to be a clutch for Afro. Finds one towards the back and gunned. New York go up 3-1. London, a little bit of shaky hands in the Berlin at the moment. Cannot find anything.
And I think, honestly, for me, that comes down to the fact that New York are closing the gap. They're not allowing London to plant. They have plenty of pressure around the site, and it's just the eyes in from there. Really, really good job from the side of New York. They find another round. It's a 3-1 lead. And with London's statistics on this map, are they just going to go out with a whimper again? Their game against Surge yesterday, they were solid all the way through, forced us to map 5, and it was just a lackluster performance on this map. And once again, we are seeing the ugly head of Berlin, Search and Destroy, rear its head for the side of London.
There's already a push coming through, and this time Nasty is faster.
Much better. But the thing is for London here, do they bite onto that? That pressure that comes on through, they do not. They do not overcommit. New York now playing with an idea. Which way are they going to go with this one? London sitting tight.
They're looking for this one. Afro is going to be the player with any information.
Doesn't see him. Doesn't see him.
And Afro's going, all right, that guy's planning a little bit cheeky for me. New York have that bomb down. It almost, not quite negates that player disadvantage they have.
Keep an eye on Crimsix still. He's the one now playing an island. Is Nasty going to be aware of this? He probably is. It's very standard position as the rest of London now start to set up Crimsix. The shots are going to rain on through. Is Nasty going to be there to maybe try and trade this one out as the shots do ring on through? Nasty though, up and down they go. Crimsix still surviving. They need to start doing something soon, London. The shots are not there from Nasty. Crimsix towards the back. This is a big gunfight to go for. Nasty finds one, Gizmo another. Paulehx left alone.
They're going to try and take him down. Paulehx holds his fire again. Shot, he gets 2, but no! So close. Paulehx throwing bullets at that bomb site. Has a 5 streak, but London just had too many players.
So crucial that Nasty eventually does find Crimsix towards the back there. If he falls, then all of a sudden Paulehx surviving. Yeah, he just needs to survive until Crim gets there. Time was on the side for New York, but Gizmo and Co had the numbers. And the bomb defuse comes through. 3-2. London with signs of life here, Bryce.
Tell you what, Crimsix almost made the play as well. That was very, very close to him completely destroying the London setup. But just wasn't to be, and now London go on to the attack. They'll be looking to try and tie this one up 3-3. That is easier said than done. There is a little bit of information. Nobody's going to drop there. Too fast.
Aggression coming through. Afro is yet to really arrive on the stage here on Friday. You could start doing something here if you're a London fan. Kismet and Co though ready and waiting. Inside of A. Push is going to start coming on through. There it goes. Nasty is going to find anything. Absolutely not. And I don't like that push at all. He pushes in. He's got no support, Bryce.
That bomb is now down. London are struggling. They know there are going to be players around as Hydra continues to do his work. He's found 2 already this round, and London have a 2 versus 4 to contend with.
Bomb in no man's land. Afro needs to find a gunfight on the Kismet. He sees him first. The bullets are in. He has to back on down. A lot of work to do here if you're the side of the London Royal Ravens.
Trying to be careful. Zero's trying to even these odds, but it's not going to work. New York are patient. They are calm. They know they hold the cards for it. But Hydra doesn't care. That's 3 for him, and he's not going to get the ace as Paulehx eventually sweeps London off the board. 4-2 now for New York.
Just so solid from them, and honestly, these attacking rounds from London, they look lost at sea. That push through from Nasty, I understand that you've got to do it. You've got to break into the site at some stage. But there's nobody there even from a supporting angle to help him. If he goes in there, there's nobody there for the trade. To me, it looked like maybe a bit of a misstep from the side of London. So far, so good, though, for New York. They have been solid. Reverse sweep is well and truly not just underway. It's very much on the cards. A 4-2 lead now for New York. 2 rounds away from surviving. And London need 4 more to continue their Vanguard season.
It's aggression in spades. New York looking to execute very, very early on in this. The key player. We can see it. It's already Kismet finds 1! Not the second! It's shaky, but it's okay. Hydra has found 1 back, though, but it will be on London to have the numbers this time.
Nasty's going to have to make his way around here as Hydra and Co are really putting the pressure on. Hydra on his merry little way once again, though, just finding routes, finding certain angles, and just toying with the side of London. Is he going to be able to toy with them? Yeah, Zero's going to be the first one. The chopping block gets out as well. 2 versus 2.
He has just been unbelievable the last 3 maps.
He's played like just being such a pain all the way through it. Oh, Crimsix starts a grenade on a Nasty. He may well be in trouble here as Hydra going to challenge. Nasty has to back down. 35 remaining.
Trying to figure this one out. Nasty's probably going to call his teammate, at least give him some information on what's going through, but they are unsure if both players are there. Hydra comes straight out for it as well, and will get taken down, and Crimsix will get that trade coming through as well. Gizmo knows where he is and will eventually hold it down for London. That was a very stressful round for both teams. It could have gone either way. But London get 3, and they are still behind against New York's 4.
Hydra has been an absolute menace on this map, but so is Gizmo. 9-4 from him. He's just everywhere. That's the problem. When you see an SMG player with confidence like that, he's pushing through routes that may well be being watched, but he does not care. He knows if he can get through undetected, he causes issues. That looked like a comfortable round for London. In the end, it was very uncomfortable. They find it anyway. A 5-2 scoreline would have been very different to the 4-3 we now have, and the aggression from London's going to start coming through. First blood is there.
That opens it up for a little bit. They know where Crimsix has been playing so far on this map. It might mean they feel a little bit more confident to commit to this, but right now just trying to hold on to this advantage and not give anything away. You know, sneaky. Oh, he's got 2 players there. They open the door and almost gets it back for them.
Look at the aggression. Look at the aggression. Is it going to pay off for them? Kismet will find 1 at Afro, and now if you're London, what do? You commit towards it, and look at the wolf packing from New York. Zero's got so much to do, but he's done a good job at doing so. Get out as well. It's a 3v2 now for London to tie it up.
That could have gone disastrous for them, but Zero holds his aim true.
And the thing is, he got so much info.
He's calling this one out. I think Gizmo has done it. He's Simp Paulehx as well. But New York are going to try and execute onto this one. They don't have an awful lot of time. They are putting the pressure on. They're looking for the skates. Where on earth for London, they're thinking. Trying to get forward. Kismet already finds one. It's down to Paulehx. And a 1 versus 3. He's on the bomb site, but he's alone. Zero goes for a chow. Wait 7.5 seconds. Chow again. Zero actually goes for it straight away. Doesn't matter. The numbers are there. And London tie this one up.
And Gizmo plays that one wonderfully. He sees the information, he gets himself into fire because they know the information they get from Zero around the outside. He then pushes through fire, knows that the overcommitment is coming through mid-map, so he wraps around again and ultimately just pinces New York into a tough position. It is 4-4. Gizmo is 11-4 on a 5 spree. He is really showing up here. How much have we talked about all season long? He's not translated online into LAN. He is very much doing so here to help London stay in the game.
It's intense. I don't know which way this is going, but I am looking forward to finding out. You know where it's going. It goes to around 11. I might just have to have a nap afterwards. But at the moment, it goes quiet on Berlin. Neither team willing to step a toe out of line or throw the wrong shoulder. And honestly, it feels like the slower players have been working out for London a little bit more. The aggression is where New York Subliners have been playing their trade very, very well so far. Gizmo, though, on that 5 spree, no longer. First blood goes over towards the side of New York. Zero cannot even the odds on the Crimsix. That bomb will surely go down. London need a retake here. And Crimsix just thread the needle, but eventually Afro has to get out of it. But Hydra gets another one down to it. It's all New York down at 2 versus 4.
This is crucial. Oh, the timing. Terrible timing, and Hydra will find him. If he finds that, it becomes maybe a little bit doable. This is not. It's 1 round away now for New York. They've found number 5. Can London answer? Can we get around 11?
And here it is. The sword of Damocles is dangling above the Ravens. 1 more round for New York, and the reverse sweep becomes reality. Hail Hydra, I'll tell you something, Hail Hydra the last 3 maps.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. Turned his series around. And now London, it's do or die, and oh my goodness me. Let's just get into B and start swinging.
There is a stack coming through. Hydra gets the first blood as well. Kismet looking for the second one. It's still all advantage to New York. They're going for this one. Crimsix finds the second! And London now, they're 1 versus 4. It's only Zero. He's the last man alive. Hydra's coming to chow. He's coming to say hello. He's found the first. But is there anything for him?
If he had the bomb, then maybe he had something, but Zero in such a bad spot.
And the hopes of a nation rest on this one man's shoulder. He will be sweating buckets. He will be nervous. He will be in trouble.
I just don't understand how he is able to do this. Look at the setup from New York.
Oh, here we go. It's about to kick off. They're looking for it now, New York. They found him already! And the reverse sweep! London has fallen! The Ravens have been reduced to rubble! And the Cinderella story is still alive! You shall go to the ball, New York! You shall stay alive at Champs! And oh my goodness! Champs does not disappoint.
5 out of 5 for map number 5 we go. Champs has been unbelievably close. And this one was just that as well. What a fantastic series out of both these 2 teams. Disappointment for London. They were 2-0 up. But we knew the control had been an issue. We knew maps 4 and 5 suited New York. It was essential they found that lead. And then just somehow find one of the last 3. They couldn't get the job done.
I like you.
And New York, as you said, the fact that they found themselves here at Champs was somewhat of a miracle. And the miracle may well just continue here as they find the win to kick off Friday.
They are happy and justifiably so. A reverse sweep to keep them alive, to keep that little bit of a dream. As they try to march forward in this tournament, they fell at the first hurdle, but didn't stay down. They got back up and they fought. And of course, we went to another map, number 5.
Of course we did. New York will advance on through, but it's a touch on London of a season that I want to say offered a lot of promise. We've seen them at the beginning of the game. Everyone kind of had them way down there in the pecking order, didn't they? I think a couple of people are like, was it 12th in the power rankings heading into the season? they proved a lot of people wrong. They did prove a lot of people wrong, and I think this is a young roster who will start to go on and develop their careers, but it just wasn't to be for them this year, was it really? We've seen some flashes of brilliance, but that was pretty much it, unfortunately. But again, there's players on that roster who have a lot of their career left to go, alongside Zero, who has been a great leader for this squad. There's still time for a lot of those players in the London Royal Ravens to write their legacy, but it will not be here in Vanguard.
It certainly will not. A disappointing end to the season for the London Royal Ravens. Potential unrealized is probably going to be the story of them as well, but that is probably the worst way to lose this. Two great maps from the begin with, and they just could not keep a handle on New York. Every player had their story to tell for New York in that, and we highlight Hydra a lot for probably obvious reasons. That man was skating ton.
Oh, he played so well in those last 3 maps in particular. The control in the hardpoint and the S&D to finish things off. He started heat up. We didn't see it in maps number 1 and 2. We really seen the nasty show, and he was fantastic, but they just couldn't continue. It felt like the wheels fell off just a little bit as soon as that control goes towards New York. And that is the story of that series. I know that map number 5.
It certainly is. Well, we say goodbye to London here at Champs, but we do say hello to Blaze on the stage. It's a Crimp of you.
Hi, Blaze.
Thank you so much, Bryson Tong. Give it up for the New York Subliners surviving elimination in a map 5 banger once again. We're 5 for 5 here at Champs Crim, but you've been in plenty of series like this before, and I know you don't like it. It was a lot of pressure right there after you guys lost map number 2.
Yeah, I mean, man, it's just so dumb. Like, it's Champs. Everyone loosen up. Loosen up. That's all we got to do. And, you know, there was a situation before we even started playing. Hey, Scott, if you're back there, I'm wearing fucking shorts tomorrow. I don't care.
Oh, shorts!
Because here in California,
it's hot.
AKA diarrhea butthole of the United States.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
We love LA, Crim.
Hey, enjoy your 54% taxes. Hey, anyways.
We love LA.
Hey, we all agree that sucks, but let me get to my point, right?
Yes.
Only in California, right, is it 74 degrees outside, and they have the heat on. Yo, it's hot in here, right?
Hot, though.
Is it hot in here?
It's the city of champions.
They don't believe in AC.
Now, is the AC going to affect you if it comes down to win another Champs ring?
I mean, I saw Simp. Hey, watch your profanity. Who said that? Anyways, point is, I saw Simp drenched in sweat, okay? He's a $110 on a good day.
Yeah.
Okay? That guy's got no muscle, no fat, you know.
But his shot is superb.
Dude. Too soon.
Any words you want to...
I can't fucking beat him, dude.
Hey, but you know, hey, could it be this weekend? You know, you guys got a tough matchup coming up here in the loser side of the bracket. Any words you want to give to these fans and everyone who's been supporting you on this Cinderella journey if you get another ring?
I got some words. Yo, Nade Shot gave me confirmation. There's going to be a new LAT merch drop. So, like...
Oh.
Yeah, go line up. What are you guys still doing here?
Hey, you heard
by the way, yo, Scump's in the 3rd level. He said he's doing autographs.
Are you gonna do autographs? I think you are.
Wait. I just want to see who goes.
Nah, well, they here for you, okay? They here for you.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Love you guys. You know.
There we go. Everybody give it up for Crimsix.
Hopefully you enjoyed the show.
One time as the show continues.
But at the end of the day, it was a good thing that it went map 5.
It was good for the community.
Shit's weird, man. USA.
All right, as the USA chants start, let's take this one back to the desk. It's a lot to break down.
There's a lot to break down after that one. I don't even know where to start.
Listen, Crim is the main character, and we're all just we're all NPCs. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I mean, look, let's try. I'm gonna do my very best to reel it back to some level of reality here. London has fallen. The Ravens will be the first team eliminated here from COD Champs in the 2022 weekend. Wow, man. I mean, a reverse sweep chance, a tough one for the Ravens. I mean, they started so strong.
I mean, and it's almost like poetic that their year ends on Berlin S&D, because if you go back and look at it, you know, 0-6 in round 11s on that map, literally from stage 1, if they could have more success on their map, their year would be radically different. But from the start of the year to literally the bitter end, they just didn't have the ice on Berlin, and yep, that'll be their year.
I mean, no, Chance totally touched that point. It's just their map pool that beat them in the end. Like, they're 0-5 in Tuscan S&D, so obviously, you know, they don't want to square up with New York Subliners on that map, but I almost would have taken the risk, to be honest. Having the loss on the Berlin S&D yesterday, obviously having that stat of being 0-6 in round 11s on it, like, I feel like at Champs, like, sometimes you just got to risk it. And unfortunately, they played the safe Berlin. It didn't pull out in the end. And it's really unfortunate because I feel like we saw a different Nasty and Gizmo in this series when it came to the London Royal Ravens. So not a horrible year, but definitely leaving a lot to be desired.
I mean, it's just tough. I mean, they get knocked out in 2 double Berlins, Hardpoint and S&D, both their last 2 series. And, you know, looking at this one, they had to close them out on that control. Like, they had the opportunity to do it. You cannot lose a defense on Gavutu. Like, later in this series, you know you've had troubles on those maps as of late. So for them, I think it's a tough loss, man. And then also for Afro, he didn't have the best performance, but there was a lot of AR-heavy maps there. Still would have liked a little bit more out of him in this one.
Yeah, tough one. But that is going to be some of our segments here finished on the Game Break presented by Prime Gaming. Now to the bracket we go. Further, deeper into this tournament. Subliners find themselves to Elimination Round 2. We bid adieu to the Ravens. Their campaign here on Vanguard comes to a close. Up next, though, Ultra versus Breach. Another elimination matchup. We will be saying goodbye to another team here in the most insanely exciting and tragic at times tournament of the entire year. Ladies and gentlemen, time to go to a quick commercial break. We come back and we'll be diving back into brand new action here at the Call of Duty League Championship Weekend 2022. Don't go too far. It's only a tiny break. In fact, you know what? Stay where you are. Don't move. We'll be back.